Craig Smith. I'm the head athletic performance coach for the Indiana Mad Ants. This is year 10 or 11 for strength conditioning for me. Grew up in Indiana originally, so big deal to be able to come back and work in a city that I actually went to undergrad in. Started off at the University of Indianapolis, followed that up going to Exos in Florida as an intern again, spending time there, and then got my first graduate assistantship at the University of West Florida. Take on a lot of responsibility at a younger age with the 1st Ranger Battalion, which is Army Special Operations. So I spent almost 5 years in Savannah, Georgia there, and then specializing towards basketball after that. So I was the director of performance at Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, and then from there moved into the role that I'm in now. And it made sense to me based on my skill set and wanting to be a little bit deeper and have more depth of thought with what I was doing. So I was a mile wide and an inch deep at some of my other jobs, and here I'm an inch wide and a mile deep. So I get a lot of one-on-one time with players. I have tools in my toolbox that I have got to use for the first time in a few years with guys that I wasn't using as frequently as I would have liked. So really getting to look at the individual first with their training and start to specialize for the player and their specific needs. And that's something that I was passionate about. So getting to do that and having the opportunity to work with great people and good mentors, it was a no-brainer for me. The biggest thing I've learned, I would say that there are some things that aren't going to change, and one of those would be the element of human behavior. So that's universal. People want to know and need to know that you're invested in them, regardless of how good the information or products you have to give them. You heard my background. It seems like a hodgepodge of settings that I've worked in, but the reality is that diversity in that background has allowed me to kind of put your question to the test with different populations and thought processes and principles that people use in those settings. And what I've found to always be true is that the human element is the one element that has to always be accounted for. We're complex, we're adaptive, we're people, right? You're not working on an engine, you're not trying to solve a math problem. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. So honing your skills is great, but making sure that the human element is ignored in that process is super important. When you're responsible for managing a budget, people want you to be responsible with that budget, and you don't want to be buying things that are being life cycled quickly because they're of poor quality construction or because they're a fad and they don't actually serve a purpose right now, or they're just a recruiting tool, right, if you're in a college setting. So what I look for is I look for something that seamlessly integrates into the existing ecosystem. I want something that's user-friendly, and I want something that's cost-effective, and something that actually serves the purpose of what I'm purchasing it for. I'm also looking at the other side of the coin and saying, is this going to have additional costs after my initial purchase? Am I going to continue to have to pay for this over the life of it, which is okay, but it needs to be factored in if that's the case. And I'm looking at what's the utility of this product? Is it something that's going to stay in our weight room, or can I take it other places? And that's where ANCORE obviously sets itself apart from other tools, is that its portability is one of the most obvious features of the system. So you have the ability, I actually use ours in our existing weight room if I need more space, because when you're training in the G League, sometimes you're training larger numbers relative to an NBA setting. So if I need an extra cable, I'm going to take it out of the bag and I'm going to put it up in the weight room, even though that's not where it's normally sitting. I'm also going to take it on the road. I don't have to worry about buying a specific brand of rack for my weight room to be able to use the ANCORE. I can use it on any rack that is in that weight room or in any of the hotels that I go to. So having those things, to me, it's a no-brainer to be able to have that and to still be able to have some level of load for the player too, because if you're restricted on the amount of weight that you can carry on your bags for the flights or different things like that, you have to start to be creative to be able to put, more than 5 or 10 pounds of load in your player's hands.